according to Daniel Willingham, a very famous cognitive psychologist, makes the argument that humans don't think very often because our brains are not designed for thought. Well, but for the avoidance of thought. Similarly, Henry Ford, thinking is the hardest work there is. Probably the reason why so few engage in it. Interesting. Do you agree with this? Now, as an advanced organizer, again from Willingham, people are naturally curious but not naturally good thinkers unless the cognitive conditions are right. Now, we're going to be interested in that because from a teaching point of view, if thinking's good for student learning, but the brain isn't terribly well designed for it, we've got to do some serious thinking about pedagogic strategy. Otherwise, we will avoid thinking. Now, is a really interesting frame from Kahneman. This was a best-selling book on thinking. What he says is, and it's only a metaphor, that we have two kind of thinking systems. System one is very fast and reflexive, and it's about survival. When the saber-toothed tiger arrived at the caves many years ago, fortunately not today, we didn't have too much time to analyze, compare and contrast and evaluate. We had to respond quickly. And typically in everyday life, that when we have to think, we just dip into our long-term memory system very quickly and respond to it. Now, that's a good survival system, but it also results in stereotypical prejudicial judgments and action. It's the price we pay for this survival system. Now, we also have a slow analytic reflective system that explores the more objective factual elements of a situation. Maybe this is what critical thinking is about. Carefully analysing situations, comparing and contrasting, looking for similarities and differences, making inference and interpretations, building up a big picture. However, this is tiring, hard work. Takes a lot of self-control. Maybe this is what self-regulated learners are able to do, people that are very good at metacognition. Effort and time. But the big word is, it's cognitively tiring, and that's the reason many people don't do it. And finally, there's long been confusion over defining thinking. It's internal mental activity after all. So we have to make inferences and interpretations about what it might be. And you've probably noticed if you read the literature, there's so many terms. Critical thinking, creative thinking, reasoning. What's the difference between reasoning and critical thinking and problem solving? And what's thinking out of the box? Can you think outside of the brain? Sounds like remote viewing to me. I think you can only think within the brain itself, making new connections. And what is dialogical thinking? So there's a lot of confusion, and maybe that's why teachers are confused when they try to teach it. And that problem was well captured a while back by Aladinia. The art of this problem is our failure to define such terms as critical thinking, problem solving, etc. And the big point is, without adequate definition and training, teachers will lack the knowledge and skills to teach and assess, test these desirable but elusive human qualities. So that gives us some idea of the challenge that we face if we want to teach students how to be good thinkers.